my performance on CTQ improves. CTQ is critical to quality characteristics. If you take a product, there are a lot of specifications, right? Any product will have a lot of specifications. You see the specifications mentioned in the box. Every number is a CTQ, right? And Six Sigma methodology measures your performance with respect to each CTQ. That is why we call it process level approach. It is not a organization level metric. When I say your Sigma level is 6, it doesn't mean your organization is Six Sigma. Your organization may be ISO certified, but Six Sigma is a measure of your performance with respect to a particular CTQ. So there are two methodologies, DMAC and DMAC-V, and DMAC is for improving your existing process and then existing products. And DMAC-V is new product development, a birth-giving process, right? And this is correcting the failures, right? So process capability, ability of your process to meet the customer requirement. Let us take an example of Swiggy or Zomato. And Swiggy says, every delivery will be 30 minutes, otherwise your food is free. Delivery is 30 minutes, otherwise food is free. Now, what is the upper specification limit? 30 minutes. What is the lower specification limit? 0, right? So, but I am going to consider lower specification limit as 10 because I know there will be food preparation time involved, isn't it? Because I can't deliver food in 0 minutes, right? So, USL, LSL are fixed as 30 and 10. That means targeted time for delivery is 20 minutes. In a particular pin code, Swiggy has made arrangements to see to that every delivery happens in 20 minutes. They have made the arrangement. That is why they are committing. 30 minutes we will deliver, otherwise food is free. If Swiggy is capable of honoring this commitment, their business will definitely improve, right? And we are going to measure their capability. The ability to meet this requirement is called capability, and we'll see. And now I have visualized the commitment. What is the target? 20. USL 30. LSL 10. So what is the specification width? USL minus LSL is 20. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. And now I want to know how is my business really performing. This is my commitment. How is my business performing? So I collect data from my business. I go to the particular pin code, randomly some 100 deliveries, data is collected. That means I have 100 data about recent deliveries in the particular pin code. And with the data, I calculate the average. Look here, the average is X bar. The average is found to be 20. What does it mean? Plan is
good.
Good. Process is centered on the target. They wanted to deliver the food in 20 minutes, and that is going on as of now. But with all 100 data, I calculate standard deviation. That standard deviation is 3.33. How is it helpful to me? I will locate the control limit. You know how to locate the control limit? Average plus 3 sigma. 3 sigma is 10, average is 20, my upper control limit is 30. Lower control limit is 20. Do you all understand how to locate the control limit now?
Yes.
Yes. I want to know my capability, so I overlap. I overlap specification width and the process width. And both are equal. Both are equal. My control limit overlap with the specification limit. That means my car and my parking area are of same size. That means my elephant and the tub are same size. But one good thing is my control limit has not yet crossed the specification limit. It is just touching. And this state, we call it, just capable. The process is just capable. Why do I call it just capable? My control limit is just touching the specification limit. I know inside the control limit, 99.73% of my points will lie. Am I correct? Yes or no? 99.73% of the point will lie inside the control limit. If I extrapolate this finding, what is extrapolation? If whatever I observe in my sample, I am going to observe in my population also. If Swiggy operates in the same fashion, 99.73% of their deliveries will happen as per the commitment, but 0.27% of the deliveries might go beyond the commitment. Failure is 0.27. So now tell me, what is, let us say, in a particular day, Swiggy gets 1,000 deliveries. Every day, every single day, Swiggy gets 1,000 orders. Now tell me how many orders they will be able to honor the commitment?
997.
997.
997 orders, the delivery commitments are met, they will get the money. But 3 orders, they have to give it free. Are you happy with your business?
Yes.
Looks happy. And then customers also happy. Customers also happy. So what happens when customers are happy, more customers will now come? Yes or no? So very soon, within another 3 months, Swiggy started getting 10,000 orders a day. Do you think if they continue the same process, do you think they will get the same level of success?
No.
Process improvement is a must. As the business improves, we need to improve along. As the demand increases, we have to improve the process. And customer requirement changes. At the same time, even when the demand increases, then also you should improve the process. Otherwise, what happened? Whatever capability you have been enjoying right now, that will fall down. If you continue the same thing, and if you expect to handle even a higher level of demand, your capability will come down and rejections will be much more. Here, rejection is only 0.27 here. But here, the rejection might be, sometimes it could be 10% or 20%, right? And so this process is called just capable process. Statistically, the distance between the center of the process and the nearest specification limit. How much is the distance here?
3 sigma.
So this process is called a 3 sigma process. What level of success a 3 sigma process assures? 99.73%. But I know this 99.73, I can use it only for my short-term success. For my long-term, if my business improves, this 99.73 will no longer be valid. It might fall down depending on the damage you are giving to your process. It might come down to 90, it might come down to 80, or it might come down to 68. And that is why process improvement is a continuous activity. And I'm going to give a nickname to this process. And look at the way the curve looks. It looks like a head of the elephant, right? So I will call it an elephant process. Because you should be fully aware that you have put a big elephant in a small tub. The elephant will definitely feel the pressure, right? So there is a clear necessity that we must continuously strive to improve the process. So I improve the process. Can somebody tell me how Swiggy will improve the process? How can Swiggy improve the process?
Increase the number of operators.
Very good. Increase the number of delivery boys. Provide them some better vehicle. Provide them a better GPS system, connectivity. Maybe they might network with more hotels. I do all these things. When they have more hotels, my deliveries can happen as per the plan perfectly, isn't it? How will I come to know whether all my initiatives are helping? I will check the average and standard deviation. Again, I will collect the data from the same pin code. I will calculate the average. Again, I am on target, so I have no issues again. And look at my standard deviation. Earlier, it was 3.33. Now it is 1.66. What does it mean? My efforts are delivering results. If standard deviation is not going down, what does it mean? You have put the effort, but it's not impacting your result, right? And now the recalculated control limit. Now your upper control limit is 25. Why now can you see it is now very close to the center? Earlier it was here. Now you brought it close to the center. Get everything close to the center. That's important, right? And so you are pushed the control limit inside. See, your now specification width is 20, but process width is only 20. That means you have raised your process to a state of doubly capable. Even if something goes wrong, still deliveries will happen here only. Still, you don't have to lose your money. Do you get the point? If something goes wrong in your process, delivery, some vehicle puncture and all these things are happening, still you are able to deliver the food within 30 minutes. And that's why, we call your process doubly capable. All these failures are now at present internal failure only. Only when the failure happens here, this will be external failure, will be known to your customer, you will lose your money, you will lose your business. But here also it is a failure. In a company who follow the Six Sigma philosophy and principles, anything beyond the control limit, they will see it as critical. They will treat it as failure and then try to get these points inside. And now this process, now somebody tell me statistically, the distance between center of the process and the nearest specification limit, and both are here, same here. What is the distance? Is equal to
6 sigma.
So this process is a 6 sigma process. When a 3 sigma process was giving you a result of 99.73, a 6 sigma process will give you a result of 99.999. If the business is going on with the same demand, 1000 deliveries a day, how much will get accepted now? 99.999%. That means
999.
all 1000 will now get accepted, because the chance for a delivery to fail is 0.0001% only. It might not even happen, isn't it? Maybe very rarely it will happen. Suppose if your business improves, every day you process 10,000 delivery. What is 99.999% of 10,000?
4 times 9.
All 10,000 will be successful deliveries. Failure happen. If you make 1 million deliveries, you might see 3.4 failures. This is what we call it, 3.4 DPMO milestone. You are making failure a rare event in your business. You are not giving a chance for the failure to happen, right? And this process, since you have grown your curve taller in the center, and you have reduced the spread, your graph will now look narrower and taller in the center. That means you converted your elephant into a giraffe. This process is doubly capable. And now, what is that you are seeing in the screen? Is it an elephant or a giraffe?
Elephant.
Elephant. In terms of sigma level, what is the sigma level?
3 sigma level.
3 sigma. What kind of success rate you can expect from this process?
99.73.
Now this 99.73, is it applicable for short term or applicable for long term?
Short term.
Only short term. Because long term, if the demand increases or something goes wrong, then what will happen? Your capability might fall down. And see, 3 sigma process, that 3 is called the Z score, G score. This will be taught to you probably today afternoon. Right. And now I improve the process. Improving the process in the sense, I push the control limit inside. Now, is it still an elephant or a giraffe?
Giraffe.
And statistically, what is the sigma level?
6 sigma.
And what will be the success rate now?
99.99%.
Very good.
That is
99.999%. Is this 99.999 is short-term success or long-term success?
long term.
Whatever results you are seeing today, you will be able to maintain it even if the business improves in a long term also. All right. So now see here, the judge score, actually it is 6, but the number 99.999 is picked up using a judge score of 4.5. You know why? I know in a long term, my process will drift. My process center might shift. My process spread might increase. I must tolerate all those things. Statistically, it is predicted that a process will move either to the right or to the left by an amount equal to 1.5 sigma. So I carefully subtract that 1.5 and estimate my success only after subtraction. That is why this is called long term. If you don't subtract your judge score, whatever success rate you are calculating, whatever yield or DPMO you are calculating, that is true only in short term. In long term, the damages will be much more. And process failure can be one-tailed or two-tailed. What is one-tailed? Tolerance is applicable only on one side. For example, the Swiggy's case. Delivery, if it takes more than 30 minutes, it's a failure. If the delivery happens in less than 10 minutes, is it a failure?
No.
So that study is one-tailed, right? So always, tolerance may be available on both sides, or sometimes it is only one side. That means failure happens only one side. If it happens only one side, that is one-tailed. For a one-tailed study, the success rate is this much. That means the rejections failure rate will be limited to 3.4. Now, do you understand where from the 3.4 comes? You check the failure rate, multiply by 1 million. Now 3.4 DPMO. But for a two-tailed process, the failure rate will be no more, and so the success rate will be slightly dropping down. So this is the statistics. So in all our business, we need the process which is taller in the center and then having lower spread, right? So here it looks like an elephant. That means the spread is too much. It is hard to produce output within customer requirement. Under such cases, sigma level will be low. As a result, your yield will be low and your rejections will be high. On the other hand, if you convert your process like Giraffe, see to that the standard deviation is low, process capability will go high. Virtually everything you produce will meet the customer requirement. Your sigma level will be in the order of 4 to 5 to 6. Yield will be high, and absolutely the defects, you will be able to really achieve the 0 defects and all, right? So you can make the failures a rare event. So this is called the Six Sigma approach. A real-time problem is converted into a statistical problem. And then for a statistical problem, we arrived on the statistical solution. What is statistical solution? Fixing the average and fixing the standard deviation. Average cannot fix just like that. You need to work. You must hire more people. You must change the settings. You must improve the process, network with more hotels. That's how your average will move. That's how your standard deviation will come down. That means you need to work in real time to impact these statistical parameters to achieve the practical solution. Here you can see, if you follow this logic effectively, every time there will be a success. You can produce result from every project. If the project is failing, it doesn't mean that the approach is ineffective. It simply means that you have poorly handled it. Success is guaranteed here. And other methods, in my opinion, they are called the trial and error method, where the failures are frequent and success is rare. Here, success is frequent, failure is rare. But people have to be trying to produce the success. So this approach can increase the revenue in any situation for any company, any product and any service. And it can bring down your cost of poor quality, obviously, because we are controlling the rejections. It will improve your resource, the way you utilize your resources. It will improve the efficiency. And ultimately, the more the number of Six Sigma projects in your company, the more effective your organization, the more effective people your organization will have. If the people become effective, automatically your organization will become world class. So that's why we say Lean Six Sigma is an approach to achieve operational excellence. The best approach to achieve operational excellence, right? Everyone should be trained because everyone's contribution is important. So a distribution is called normal because it is symmetrical at the center, mean equal to median equal to mode. In standard normal distribution, if I change the mean to 0 and standard deviation is equal to 1, that is called standard normal distribution that you will be discussing. And within plus or minus 1 standard deviation, 68.27% of the data points will lie. Within warning limit, 95.45 will lie. Within control limit, 99.73% of data points. This will definitely happen in your sample. And the same thing will happen in your population if your sample is free from errors, right? Measurement error and sampling error. And of course, central limit theorem will be discussed today afternoon. Sigma level is a measure of process capability. Higher the sigma level, higher will be the capability. Specification limits or limits provided by the customer. Control limits are calculated using process data. A 3 sigma process is just capable. Success rate is 99.73. This is only a short-term success. A Six Sigma process is doubly capable. Success rate is 99.99936. This is a long-term success, and for a one-tiled study, you will achieve the milestone of 3.4 DPMO when your process is operating at Six Sigma level. So in a Three Sigma process, the control limit will overlap with the specification limit. In a Six Sigma process, control limit is moved towards the center. As you reduce the standard deviation, your control limit will approach the center. Higher the sigma level, higher will be the capability. If you want higher sigma level, then your standard deviation must be lowered while ensuring the process center on the target. That's it.